Clap. And we're back
Hello,
from another
everybody.
unannounced hiatus.
Yes, we are exciting like that.
Yeah, sorry, everyone. I feel like we should start getting into the habit of telling you when we're going to disappear because we do it quite often. But I promise that's the last time it'll happen this year unless anything unplanned comes up. But yeah, Mary and I both had some time off. I went on vacation.
Yeah.
So, and I thought maybe I'd be able to record while I was on vacation, but timing just didn't work out. So, but we're here. And this is another episode of the After School Special Club podcast, your source for video game news, commentary, and stories from our stupid little lives. I'm Chris.
I'm Mary.
And welcome back. We're all here.
Both of us. Both of us are included. We're here. All the two of us, the big group.
It's so funny. Every time we take a break and then we come back, I have to get back into the habit of talking on camera.
Yeah, it's like we just keep retraining ourselves. Like,
Right.
But ultimately, it's going to prove us to be champions at the end. We're going to be so good at talking randomly about stupid shit all the time. People are going to be like, stop talking.
You need to
Please
stop it. Oh, you know what? I need to adjust my camera a little bit. Maybe?
Yeah, but so you went on vacay. I went on vacay. It was nice. A little time off from everything and everyone and everybody. But how was your time away?
It was really lovely. So I did a whole bunch of stuff, actually. So my mom flew out from the East Coast, and she stayed with me here in Oakland for, I think it was 3 days. She came in on Saturday, and then we had Saturday, Sunday, and Monday together here in the Bay. So we did a whole bunch of stuff. Every time she comes, because she's not able to come out often. Obviously, we live so far apart. So we did some like touristy stuff. We went to Alcatraz, which was really cool because I've actually never been to Alcatraz.
That still surprises me, yet is awesome.
Right? Lived here for 6 years, and there's still a bunch of touristy stuff I've never done. But I was able to knock that off my list. We finally did that, and it was so fun. You take the ferry out, and then you're on the island. You can just walk around. We did a self-guided tour, so they had those little like museum remote things.
Yeah, like the cassettes or like the things you listen to. Mm-hmm. They're like the cold waters when they tried to escape, and you're like, I don't know, it's pretty hot today. You're like, it's pretty warm.
It's pretty warm out here. It's summer. No, but it was cool. But because of COVID, there's no headphones, and so it was
interesting.
They had these they had the phone thing, and then it was like in this like plastic bag. And you had to play it out loud, so everyone was walking around looking like we were on cell phones.
Chaotic.
Yeah, it was hilarious, and of course, and it's self-guided, so everyone's like milling around. It was so chaotic, but it was really fun.
Like different moments of like the tour going like in this cell, in this cell, in this. No, Al Capone.
Actually, and it was so funny because like I'm not like the kind of person who likes to go to museums and spend like hours just like, you know, idly walking around. I like to just walk around, look at things. Like, I'm pretty quick. And so I was always ahead of the self-guided tour because I would like get to a cell and be like, okay. And then I would like start walking away and it'd be like, and then this cell. And I'm like, oh my God.
You're like, that was 3 cells ago.
Yeah. Seriously. I'm like, that's like so 3 cells ago.
Yeah. You're just ahead of the times. You're ahead of the self-guided tour times.
Yeah, it was hilarious, but it was really fun. And I did learn some stuff, which was pretty cool. And then at the end, you like turn it in. They just had like a booth of people like rubbing them down with alcohol,
dousing them.
It's like, what a time we live in.
Yeah, right. I'm like, give me that, please.
Right.
Hurry.
It's like before I would have just put these already been used headphones in my ears and not even think about it.
That's what I did when I went 3 times. Yeah. 3 headphones.
It is funny how COVID makes you realize how gross we are as a people.
Ew, yeah.
Like you think about all the things we don't do anymore, and then you reflect on how they were disgusting to begin with.
I mean, shaking hands.
Right?
just that. Like, that's kind of gross. People have been slowly doing that again.
I know.
Whenever I'm out, like this past like week when I've been out with people and hanging out, and introducing like myself to people, they go to shake my hand. And every time I instinctively just shake it because I'm not going to be like, ew. Get your dirty little paw away from me. No, I shake it. And then I'm like, whoa, your hand's sweaty. And I forgot, like, because like during the COVID times, you know, the height of it, We did not hug.
No, there was
No touching at
no
all.
anything. We were 6 feet
And then
apart.
people that would just normally be okay with touching strangers without permission, which honestly, I don't know what kind of person you are to do that.
They exist though.
They exist, and ew. But they would feel a little bit more guarded. They wouldn't touch you as much. But now
They're back at
just
it.
shaking hands.
Ugh.
That's too much.
It's gross.
Too
You don't
much
know
for
what
me.
people do with their hands.
I know. And like how many people don't wash their hands?
Right?
I should just I should hold up a little sign saying like I'm allergic to shaking hands. You could kill me if you shake my hand.
I will perish.
I will perish. I don't have the EpiPen on me for this handshake.
And it is interesting because I guarantee you, like, the thing is, if you are a person who didn't wash your hands before, you're still a person who doesn't wash your hands. I feel like that is something that doesn't change about people. Like, if you're a gross person, like, you're always going to be a gross person.
That's true. Pick your nose, shake hands. Right in that order. Don't.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, Alcatraz was fun. And
Cool.
what else did we do? I took her to Japantown.
Oh, that's an experience.
Yeah, because she had never been to Alamo Square or to see the Painted Ladies, and she wanted to do all those things. And I was like, oh, well, like, that's easy. Like, we'll just go to Alamo Square and then we can walk to Japantown. And I took her to get ramen, Marufuku.
Oh yeah, that's the place to go.
And it was hilarious because she loved the spice menu, the different levels of spices that are on the wall. And I was just like, okay, Mom. And she loved that. I was like, good. And they had options for gluten-free noodles so she could eat, which was awesome. Because I was like, oh fuck, like I didn't look at the menu before because I'm just so used to being like, let's go to this ramen place.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and so I was like, okay, thank God they had like spinach noodles or something.
That's good to know because now I'm gluten-free for a bit.
Oh my god, well, we'll have to talk about that in a moment.
Yeah, but that's cool. I didn't know that.
Yes, so they did have that option for anyone in the Bay Area who wants to go there and get ramen. So that was fun. And then we went to Oregon to see my aunt and uncle from Tuesday to Saturday. And we were in Eugene. And then we stayed in Hood River for a little while and just spent a lot of time outdoors. We hiked so much. And like the first day we were there, we did like a difficult trail marker. My mom, and it's because of my mom, she was like, oh, well, how difficult can it be? And we were like rock climbing at one point.
You get to like a huge mountain. They're like, you chose this.
Only way is up.
You chose. We told you. It's hard.
And it was, but it felt so good. And it wasn't like rock climbing. It was like you got to a couple like slanted rock faces, and you had to like be on your hands. Like it wasn't anything extreme.
Like goats were like there.
Yeah, there were
Billy
mountain
goats
eating salt.
Yeah, just like hanging out.
No, it wasn't anything that extreme, but yeah, it definitely was some like you're on your hands and your feet. It wasn't just a casual walk. But yeah, we spent a lot of time outside. We did like a little waterfall tour. So we stayed in an Airbnb for a couple of the days. And so on our drive to the Airbnb, we stopped at like 4 or 5 waterfalls. Again, did some hiking.
Ooh, pretty.
And it was very nice to spend all my time outside. And like I put my phone on Do Not Disturb pretty much the whole time. So I wasn't receiving any notifications. Like if people were trying to reach out to me, I had no idea, which was awesome to just totally disconnect for a week.
Relief.
Mm-hmm. So it was really, really nice. And yeah, I've been back this past week, just readjusting, going back to work, getting back to writing, all that kind of stuff. So, but yeah, that was my week. How was your
That's awesome. It was good. I had some time away, too, in addition, up in Marshall, California, which is north here, maybe like an hour and a half. It was a small little fishing town. So in like this place, it was right next to the bay, Tamales Bay, I think. So it was, again, no cell service really, anything like that. It was very cold. So there was like heaters, and there was heaters everywhere in this place.
Oh, interesting.
The Airbnb had like heaters in every corner. Like you couldn't escape.
You rounded a corner and it's just like, ah!
Yeah, there was one like unattached while one was hooked up while the other one was on the wall. I was like, what do these people think?
Why do we need so many heaters in here?
These San Franciscans, they don't know what weather is anymore. We have to have heaters everywhere. Yeah. So there was one that was like a little fireplace. It was nice. Scrabble was there. I played Scrabble a lot. I forgot how good Scrabble was. And I felt so, I'm 30 because my birthday just passed.
That's right.
Now I'm 30.
Everybody say happy birthday to Mary in the comments.
Woot. Thank you, God. Stop.
Oh my God, you guys, it's so loud.
Wow.
Your love for me is just overwhelming.
Yeah. But it was fun. It was nice. And I also, when I said gluten-free, so I am now trying out FODMAP. I don't know if you've heard of that kind of diet.
What is that?
So I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. It's like FODMAP, and you want to try to eat low FODMAP for a time being, which means that you're like restricting your diet to these certain things. Because, I have a sensitive tummy, and I found this out via my family stuff happening with their stuff, and I was like, oh, that runs in the family.
Oh, great. It's my turn.
Oh, yeah. Oh, good. Goody. So I've been trying out the whole like low FODMAP thing. So it's very difficult navigating what you can and can't eat on this because some healthy food is like off limits.
Interesting.
It's like, do you like green bell peppers? Sorry. No.
Too bad.
It's bad for you. It's toxic. I was like, green bell pepper? That's supposed to be healthy. So I'm trying to trick my brain into like readjusting that. Because like I am trying to like fix basically my whole diet in a way. And like the way that I eat. Also, I go to the gym. It was nice because I've been going to the gym more. And the last time I went, I got like this thing called what's it called? I forget what it's called. It's not tanning, but it's like you get hit with like electronic rays, like red light.
Oh, interesting.
And you sit in this tube. And the tube talks to you.
Oh God!
Sorry,
this
I'm
sounds
all
like
over
a
the
horror
place.
scenario. Actually,
I'm all over the place right now because like we haven't been talking for so long in this podcast. But I don't care. I'm running with it. I'm rolling with it. It's on my health journey. I'm always on this health journey. And basically, you get in. It's not UV rays, so it's some kind of red light, and you sit in this like, or you stand on this little tube, and it gyrates. It like vibrates your whole body. So your whole body's shaking. While you're encapsulated in this hot tube. It's hot in there. And the robot's talking to you with like music and like a fan's blowing in your face. And it's supposed to like help your cells on a molecular level. And like also help with like wrinkles and like help with like fat molecule, all that stuff. So it's supposed to help you. And I did that and I felt great afterwards. It helped with my rosacea a bit. But yeah, I've just been on the health kick. Really. Like, nice. I've been playing games, but I've been more focused on, like, trying to get healthy. Well, yeah, that was a long-winded, like, all over the place. Like, I didn't know how to start it. I didn't know what to say in the middle.
I don't remember what happened. I just started talking.
It's like you just turn a paper in to the teacher, and you're like, fuck, this is
You're like, I know I'm getting an F on this.
Is there a below? Okay, I'm going to get an E on this.
No grade, because it was so bad.
G. Yeah, it's just, like, so bad. But I'm glad that we had time off because I think we deserved it.
We needed it.
We needed it. And so I'm glad to be back, but also it was good to take some time off.
Yes. I agree. Yeah, it feels nice to get some time and like just to do something like relax and to not do like your regular routine. And even for me, that was like getting away from like video games and writing and working, like to not to be doing something completely different from what I normally do. It felt really good. So I feel refreshed and full of creative energy. I'm excited to be back doing the podcast, and Mary and I are gonna, after recording, I think we're gonna talk about the future of the podcast and like stuff that we want to do and things that we want to change. So yeah, I'm feeling like really positive today. That's good. It's good to be in a good mood. Yes. In a positive mood. And also... And my story didn't detract from that. That's good. No, and it only enhanced it. Okay. And I was going to say, I apologize to anyone watching. We do have a new stream overlay. And because of that, I'm working out some technical kinks with the video. So me and Mary's video might be delayed from what we're actually saying. And I apologize. But please don't stop watching. Yeah, please watch even further because then you can try to like match up our voices to our mouths, and that's always fun. Right. You can watch the progression as I fix everything. I thought everything was fine, and then when I started recording, I was like, everything is not fine. Everything's broken. But you know what? We're here. We're here, and we're here to tell you guys all the great news. Well, some of the news, because there's been so much. I was going to say, we last recorded. Yeah, before we were recording, we were both just like, oh my God, like we took we took 2 weeks off and like everything happened. There were like 3 or 4 showcases. There were leaks. There was all this stuff happening. And I was like, oh my God, of course. Like the one time, or not the one time, but when we do take time off, it's like, here's a bunch of stuff you could be talking about.
Yeah, it's like, oh, PS6 already released. Also, they got the new Switch out. Like,
there's a new Silent Hill game.
Yeah, Silent Hill game with Kojima as the head.
Oh my
like,
God.
already came out. I would be like, Chris, I don't even know how to catch up.
We simply couldn't catch up.
No.
But we do have some topics for you guys today from this past week. So let's jump into our news segment. Mary, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, I'll kick you. I'll kick
you. I'll kick you in the head.
I'll kick you hard. Well, I'm excited this week because I found out I really like videogamedunkey.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you are familiar with his videos, his YouTube videos. He's hilarious. He's probably one of the prominent video game YouTubers. He pulls in like millions of views per video. And a lot of times they're like goofy and kind of outrageous a little bit. But also sometimes he does critical reviews of games in his videos and things like that. So he is very influential, I feel like, in the gaming community. And just this week, super excited, he is releasing his own indie game publishing company.
Woo!
Yeah, and it's called BIGMODE. Also, love that name.
It's a good name.
BIGMODE. It's a really good name. Also, it has like a little froggy as their icon.
And I'm looking at the logo in our notes right now, and I'm like, it's so cute.
It is. It's so cute. So this is from an article from NintendoLife.com, which I think is also fitting that this is from Nintendo Life because videogamedunkey is a huge Nintendo fan. Probably one of his favorites. But anyway, YouTuber and the best goddamn video game player of all time released a new YouTube video announcing his very own indie game publishing studio. Him and his wife Leah teamed up to create a company that promotes the type of video games they want to see in the world. And in a quote from Dunkey himself in his most recent YouTube video, he says, "For years and years and years, I have always sought out the best indie games out there and have tried to do them justice, putting millions of eyes on the games that actually deserve attention. My best of the year videos are constantly loaded up with indie gem recommendations like Hades. I want all the real deal gamers out there watching this video to know I would never risk my legitimacy by trying to push some junk-ass games I don't believe in." So essentially, with this kind of mentality, he's been really working, him and his wife and his team of friends, I think, have been working to put this video game publishing company together. And it kind of was announced out of nowhere. Yeah. He just kind of released the video and just said, this is happening. And I think originally I was like, because he also is a kind of a prankster, or he likes to push the button in like the comedy route, so you don't know if he's actually serious or if he's like joking, that kind of thing. But people that watch him a lot, they know when he's like serious for the most part. And I was like, oh, is he really doing this? And yeah, it's legit. So basically he put this video out kind of as a call to arms for people out there, his fans and people who would be watching his videos. And basically he wants to send the message that at BIGMODE, we only want to work with the most passionate and creative people out there. He said, I'm sick of all these weak games. I'm sick of all the spam. I only want to work with those who are going ham. We're not aiming for the bronze medals. We're going for gold. And it's true. I feel like he is a person that wouldn't accept low quality. I think he would only accept like high quality. So I feel like it's going to open the door for indie developers and people that maybe it's hard for them to get their game off the ground. Maybe it's hard for them to really have the creative space that they want. And now there's another company out there, BIGMODE, his, and his wife Leah's, that will kind of promote more creativity, open more doors. I feel like a lot of people are fans of him, so they're going to kind of respect his taste, you know? And he said himself, he's like, he doesn't want to control whatever game like comes out, but he definitely wants to be a part of it. And I think that's really exciting because I've been a fan of his for years, and I feel like the games that he does review and that he does like talk about, especially the indie games, because he's really into those, they have a lot of quality. And he really points out like some of the games, like the flaws and the monotony and the fact that there's so many games coming out now that are kind of samey. Even when we're watching, like, I don't know if you feel the same way, but when I'm watching like video game like award shows or any kind of like big video game shows that are out now, like Jeff Keighley, the Jeff Keighley's of the world, like all those kind of announcements, videos and announcement, like stage, you know, all those things. A lot of it is similar.
Yeah.
The music's similar. The cinematography is similar. The action is very similar. A lot of these things just kind of, they all kind of drown into one entity.
Right.
It just gets kind of boring to watch and to like see all these games coming out. There are some games that are like, I'm looking forward to, like God of War, you know, the Breath of the Wild 2, or Tears of the, what is that? Tears of the Kingdom?
I think so, yeah. Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah. Tears of the Kingdom, which that got released, the name of that. Those games, like those are like their own thing and super excited for. But all the rest of the games, like there's a lot that just don't really have that oomph or that like wow factor for me. And I think it's awesome that this new video game publishing company is getting started by someone who has such a good influence on the gaming community in general. And also I feel like has been gaming for so long and knows the ins and outs of like quality versus, you know, not quality. I'm really excited about the games that they're potentially going to make.
Yes.
And I'm going to, you know, this is just, they're trying to get their footing, and the video is a call to arms. So basically at BIGMODE, they're looking for people to reach out to them with their work, with their portfolio, with their ideas. And he basically opened it up. He was like, hey, like go to our website, bigmode.com, like apply to be like a creator with us and we'll see what happens. And I think that's really cool. I like that approach too. So it's like, it's very open door.
Yes.
It's like, come to me, like we'll figure something out. I just want you to know that like, we're looking for gold though. We're not looking for bronze. So bring your A game. But I think that's really awesome because that kind of, it's less intimidating to like, think of it that way and be like, oh, I'm just going to try for it, you know? So I'm excited to see whatever games might come from this, really.
Yeah, it's interesting. And I think that this probably is the first, or at least that I'm aware of, is the first like creator going into like development kind of thing, like video content creator going into development, not necessarily like creator, like artist, because obviously that happens. But yeah, so I'll be curious to see like how it pans out, because it is a very interesting model. Like you said, the like call to arms, and you know, having people reach out to them with their work and like, let's do something together, rather than the traditional model of, you know, having an established studio and posting jobs and like looking for a specific thing. I think it's cool to like, well, we'll see like what comes to us and like what we can work with, but like also make sure that it's like the best. I think it'll be really interesting, and I'm very curious like what kind of games they'll be wanting to make. What kind of games do you think that they would put out? Like what do you think, like, because obviously they have to have some sort of idea, like it's not totally free form, right? There's got to be some sort of, you know, we at least have this idea for the kind of like indie game that we do. What do you think the style would be?
Well, in the video itself, he mentioned games like Hades and like other, like he also mentioned like Nintendo games. Like I feel like it could be a mixture of things. I think he's looking for original ideas, the things that haven't been done before, which is really hard to do, especially because there's so many games out there and so many farming games. Oh my god. But I feel like he himself, he'll kind of open the door to let anybody kind of like experiment and try different things. But I feel like action adventure platforming, like platform games, I feel like more platformer kind of thing would probably come out of that studio.
Yeah.
Maybe some like, you know, simulator games. I could see that as well. But that's where I'm leaning.
Yeah, it'll be interesting.
But honestly, the door's open.
The door's wide open. Walk on in, except you don't just walk on in here. No. Because I mean, it's so out of left field that anything could really come out of that company. Right.
Which is exciting. Which is the exciting part.
Right. It's like, who knows, right? And I'll be curious, like, what, or like who they decide to work with, because obviously they're going to need a team of people who like know how to make games, because it's like, it's one thing, like all of us have played games our entire lives, but I'm like, I don't know how to make a game. Like,
yeah, I apply, I'm like, I know nothing, please hire me.
I don't know anything. Is this convincing?
Teach me. It's like, you're trying to learn how to be a publishing company and I'm trying to learn how to do things. Teach me.
Right. Let's work together. We both don't know anything. But yeah, I mean, I think that'll be interesting to see like what talent they bring on, who are they going to collaborate, because if you want to build a game, it takes a village. And so I'll be curious to see like what that village is comprised of and what kind of stuff they end up making.
Yeah, it'd be really cool if there's a lot of humor in the game.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, is that
there'll
there'll be an underlying theme of humor.
Yeah, like definitely. And I really want like Dunkey to release a game.
I just want Dunkey to release a game.
I want him to make a game. Like I feel like it'd be one of the funniest games I've ever played if he releases a game.
We should make a game.
We should. Called Poop Simulator.
Game Jam. Poop Simulator. It's on its way.
Yeah.
You heard it first here, folks.
Yeah, flush. That's just like what we do.
Ooh.
The sound.
Surely that already exists.
Oh, I was just thinking.
It's probably like an E-Bombs World
like
Flash game from 2004.
There's probably 4. There's probably Poop Simulator 4. There's probably like the 5th one's coming out.
Made on Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah, wink.
Look at
wink.
these poops. They're so HD.
Check your color. What does it say about your diet?
Oh no, you need to eat more spinach.
Oh no, you're not doing so hot right now.
Oh my god. It would be fun for us to make a game though. We should
It would be fun. I did take a class at CCSF about like it's called Game Worlds, and it was like about how to design like a gaming. I think we used Unity. So that's what I'm familiar with. It's a lot of layering. And it's a lot of like, because whenever, and this is like kind of in parallel to what we're going to talk about later, so I'm not going to get into it too much, but the GTA 6 leak, it's kind of like the expectations of like what you think goes into making a game and what actually goes into making a game and the process of doing that. Like taking this class really helped me understand and realize how difficult it is, especially solo, especially by yourself, to like create this work of art in this encapsulated world and have it function and like just have it work. Not only be a good game, maybe that's not even a part of the like plan when you're starting out, but just work.
Just
like,
to get something that actually works.
Yeah, that itself, like that is such a feat that like I have such respect for everybody who does it, really. But also that would be really fun because I feel like it's a great way to get your ideas out there. And like Dunkey was saying, there's a lot of stuff that's out there that's just so like repetitive now. It's like it would be nice to kind of get fresh ideas out there.
Yeah. I actually did. It was funny. I had an idea for a game that I would want to create because I was thinking of like doing, to practice like writing, because like I do obviously like the stuff for Keen Gamer, but it's like I want to practice like writing like creatively. So I was like, I have an idea and I should like start executing it and I should make a game. Yeah,
that would be great.
Tune back in and yeah, you can voice act and then tune back in 3 years when it's half done.
Yeah.
Some one person.
And it's like me, I'm like, ha. I do all the voices. I'm like, ha.
Howdy.
My name's Bill. My name's Wendy.
It's like a Harvest Moon
ripoff. Yeah. It's another farming simulator. We don't have enough. I'm like,
there's not enough farming simulators out there. I have to contribute.
Yeah. To make my own spin on it.
Anyway, well, if that was all you had about that, I want to dive into my topics.
Yes.
So these are not necessarily super prolific topics, but they're self-serving. So I wanted to talk about them.
They're going to serve themselves.
So the first one I wanted to talk about is that the Valkyrie Profile Lenneth remaster is delayed until December 22nd of this year, which, fun fact, I actually learned this because I was writing an article about this earlier, that the original Valkyrie Profile Lenneth that came out on PS1 in 1999 released on December 22nd. I was like, I see what you did there.
Oh, that's cute at least. Yeah, that little nod to it. Yeah.
So for anyone who doesn't know, because Valkyrie Profile is one of my favorite series. It's 2 games. It's Valkyrie Profile Lenneth and then Valkyrie Profile Silmeria, which came out on PS2 in 2006. These are 2 of my favorite RPGs of all time. Silmeria is probably my favorite, if not one of my favorite, or one of my favorites, if not my favorite PS2 game. And I got really excited because Square Enix is releasing Valkyrie Elysium in, I think, about a week, actually. It's at the end of this month. And so part of it was you could get a deluxe package that you would get Valkyrie Elysium, and then you would also get the remaster of Valkyrie Profile Lenneth. And I was like, oh, that's so awesome. Like, I'm definitely going to get that because I want to play the newer Valkyrie game, but also like love this original game. And I've actually never played it myself. So it came out on PS1 and like it, in 99, like I was still kind of like playing games with my brother. I wasn't really playing like games on my own yet. So I kind of discovered it later, and I never had the ability to play any of the ports because it came out on PSP in 2006. And then they did like a mobile and iOS port in 2018, but like I don't touch mobile games. So I actually haven't played it. I've only ever watched like playthroughs of it, but they're such good games. And so I really want to actually get my hands on it and play it for the first time myself. And, over the years with the ports, especially with like the English remakes, they've added a bunch of stuff, like the original it was like anime cutscenes, but now they have like FMV cutscenes. And I guess the scripting and everything got reworked a little bit. So the scripts are a little bit better. There were some like UI changes. So it got some quality of life updates, which is nice. Because again, it's a PS1 game from the 90s. So, it's fairly old, but I'm super excited for it. But it did get delayed. So I'm going to have to wait till December, which is fine. But
you get it for under your tree.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know what kind of tree. Any kind of tree.
My imaginary tree.
You get under your tree.
But yeah, they're really great games, and I encourage anyone to check them out. The narrative is really, really good. It kind of does the thing where the second game is a prequel to the first game, but there's some like time traveling elements with the villain of the two games. And so it's really cool to play them both and then kind of connect all of those pieces and understand these characters. And like the Valkyrie Lenneth is also in the second game. And so it's kind of like, it's just really cool to piece everything together, and they're super fun. They're kind of like hybrid, like side scroller RPGs where like in the field, it's a side scrolling game, but then in Silmeria, like when you actually get into battles, it ends up being like a 3-dimensional field and you can move around and use your environment. And I just like the menus and the UI and just the story of it. So they're games that I've always loved my whole life. And so I was excited for this remaster, and now it's delayed, but my time will come.
Well, that's good that they're doing it though, because like those are getting to be very collectible. So the pricing out of like being able to play them, especially on original hardware, is definitely starting to creep up. Yeah. So it's really good that they're doing that.
Yeah, and I have I have Valkyrie Profile Samaria in a CD slip because I went to GameStop and I was like, I want this game, and they were like, here it is. We don't have the case. But
you're like, I'll take it.
I was like, I'll just take it. And this is one of the few like OG PS2 games that I still have that I didn't sell and give away in the Great Exodus, which I've talked about on this podcast, which I'm so regretful of. But I saved this one. I saved my faves.
That's good.
And I could probably get the case. I wonder how much just the case would cost.
Oh yeah, they're on eBay. Case manual. Yep. Definitely on eBay. But I was in a game shop the other week, and I saw behind the glass case, because I only want games that are behind the glass case. I've noticed. I don't want any of the stuff on the shelves. I want the primo. And there was Valkyrie Profile for the PS1, the original.
I want it. How much is it? $300.
$200 to $300.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fuck. I'm like, I want it so bad, but I can't afford it.
Yeah, it's just so ridiculous. Like, whenever like people like, I always tell people like, you should either wait for a remaster because nostalgia is going crazy right now. They're remastering everything, and re-releasing every stuff, and also like just hack just do some
shady
very
shit.
Legal things. Do some very legal
do some warranty breaking things to your consoles.
To your consoles, and just get some of these things legally.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah,
totally
legal.
Before I go to my next topic, I was reminiscing earlier. Actually, I was talking to one of my friends about like N64 and Game Shark. And like,
oh yeah, Game Shark.
My brother, like growing up, like I don't know where he got it, because at this point, like this is when I was still just like watching him play games. But he had a Game Shark, and we used to just fucking go ham on GoldenEye, which I'm excited is coming out on Switch.
Yes,
I'm excited to play it again to see if it still holds up to what my childhood memories I can recall. But he had a Game Shark, and I just remember, you could just go ham on certain whatever games were on there. You could just be like fucking immune and have like unlimited ammo and like all this stuff, and it was just so fun to hack your games.
Yeah, that was dope. Oh yeah, cheat codes, all those kind of things. Like I miss those.
It's an interesting piece of culture that's gone at this point, right? Like, there's no like cheat codes for PS5 and like controller cheat codes. I mean,
Yeah, and like it seems like if you want those kind of things, you have to pay for it now.
Right.
It's like behind a
It's
paywall.
marketable, yeah.
Yeah,
So
because it is marketable.
yeah. But back in the day, you used to log into to log into. You didn't log into anything because the internet wasn't a part of gaming. You used to put your GTA and your PS2, and you'd do some L1 R1 up down right L1 square, and your
Just
car would fly.
memorize them.
Yeah, you'd have to memorize them or keep a piece
Memorize
of
it.
paper folded and keep it in with the menu. That's what I used to do.
Me too. I think I still have some game, my PS2 games. They have that in
Yeah.
there sandwiched.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like wow, what a time! Or yeah, like having things like Game Shark, or there were things for PS2 as well that were like discs. I forget what the brand was, but there were discs that like, you know, you would put it in first, load it up, choose your settings, and then you would do the super scary thing of opening the tray while you had a disc in there, and you'd put the game in while the PS2 was still on, and it was so scary because
irritated me.
Because you're like, I'm gonna break this thing, and I'm young, I don't have money, I can't get another one.
It's something unnatural about seeing it like open like that and like on at the same time.
It feels wrong.
It does feel wrong.
It feels invasive.
The innards. Yeah.
But anyway, that was a little moment of nostalgia for everybody. The next topic I want to talk about was how Cyberpunk is having like a revival, which I think is so funny.
Yeah, they really are. I'm really happy for them, CD Projekt Red. And I'm also mad at them because now I want to get back into that world. And
I was just thinking about this. I was like, because I have my PS4 disc, so I'm like, I could just install it on my PS5 and download the updates. Because I'll say this. So obviously when Cyberpunk released, there was, you know, they were getting a ton of slack because their games it was just busted. Like, especially if you were not playing it on a PC. And especially if you were playing it on PS4, like shit was fucked. And like to the point where like Sony had to take it off the PlayStation Store and they had to give people refunds. Like it was bad.
And I was very blessed because I was playing on the PS5, so I didn't really experience much of anything. And because I specifically told myself that I would play Cyberpunk on PS5.
Right.
Specifically told myself that.
And I mean, I will say like I had bugs and they weren't super bad for me. Like I told you, the worst I had was like T-posing random, like NPCs would like finish walking their path and would just like T-pose at the end.
And honestly, that's a gift.
I was gonna say, and that was funny.
I love those.
Like I was laughing every time because I was just like, I know it's a bug and they're not supposed to do that, but it was so funny.
Yeah.
And just like the worst bug that I had is that my game would crash and like I would have to reload before like something that I was in the middle of, like a mission or something, and that was frustrating. But even that I could like work through and like, but I actually really loved Cyberpunk. Like that's the thing is like I was one of the people who in the beginning definitely saw through a lot of those bugs and were like, this is a really great game. It's like really well designed. You know, there are certain aspects of it that I love, like certain things that I'm like, yeah, whatever. But like I enjoyed the storylines. I enjoyed the side quests. Like it was one of the only games that I've loved like driving a car or riding a bike in as of late. The music was dope. Like the design of the city was dope. Like everything, like a lot of it was actually really good, and you just had to see through those bugs and those things on the surface. So I think I am gonna reinstall it and actually play it on my PS5 and get the patches and the updates and everything, because I'm also like recently I'm in between games right now where I'm like I don't want to start anything big or like any like big narrative like RPG things, because I'm obviously waiting for things like God of War to come out and those big games that I'm going to dedicate all my time to. So
Forspoken.
Yeah, Forspoken. Like I don't want to start anything ridiculously big. And I also am still like I just started Last of Us Part 1, so that's probably going to take me time because I'm not playing through it all at once, kind of like I have in the past. I'm taking it bit by bit. While also playing like smaller games on the side. So I think Cyberpunk might become my like sandbox game where I just go in and play a little bit, because that's the cool thing about it. There's so much to do and there's so many side quests that like you can just kind of mill around if you want to just pick it up and play for an hour, and it's a fun game to play. And so I am super happy that it's kind of come back. And I was reading an IGN article earlier saying that they have like 1 million players daily now, which is awesome with the online stuff.
Huge change.
And obviously there's the Phantom Liberty DLC coming out soon, and I think also the success of the Edge Runners anime as well. Like People, I think, were responding really well to that. And so like Cyberpunk is kind of in people's minds again. And I think people are giving it a second chance, which is awesome because I do think it's a great game.
Yeah, they're climbing themselves out of the hole that they
Yes.
that some of them purposely and some of them accidentally dug themselves. Yeah, and like I feel like Cyberpunk's a really important game in gaming history in general.
Yes.
Just because like it's kind of a cautionary tale in a lot of ways of like marketing and like what to do before a game releases and like what not to do, and like to prolong your game is probably the better choice. Like it's probably good that they're prolonging the Valkyrie profile game just so that they can get it finely tuned and make sure that it's good. It's like what it's supposed to be for the player. But also I think that CD Projekt Red is a really talented company. Like they have a lot of talented people on their team and like in their corner. And those people are starting to shine again, which is nice because they finally to go like, hey, like we know how to make a good quality game. We know how to do all these things. We just needed more time. And here's the proof. You know, you can like basically trust us again and like choose to or, you know, not. And you get to make that choice. But yeah, I also am interested in the DLC and like everything going on with that. I'll give it a go. I'll give it a whirl.
And I also want to, because again, it's another game that has like this narrative tree, right? So that you can play it totally differently every time you play it. And so I'm interested in also choosing a different path and like conversing with people in a different way and seeing how it shapes the story. So like the replayability is definitely there because there's so many options for like who you can play as and how you play it. So I think that'll be really fun too, to just do it different than I did the first time.
Yeah, that's always fun.
But that's it. That's what I want to talk about.
Yeah.
I did want to talk about our tasty tidbit, which is talking about the GTA leak a little bit. I know it's kind of it's kind of old news because it happened like over a week ago, but it's caused such a ripple effect that there's still conversation happening about it, and it's been really interesting conversation because, you know, I've been seeing a lot of people talking about it, you know, on Twitter and online from different perspectives. You know, you have like people in media talking about it, you have devs talking about it, you have just regular gamers talking about it, and everyone sort of has a different perspective on the leaks. And like, I mean, it's a big leak, right? We're talking about like Rockstar, just like one of the biggest publishers, and like GTA, which is one of the biggest IPs that there is in gaming. It's so prolific and well known that it is a big deal. And and there was news recently too in the middle of the week about they arrested like a UK teen who they suspect is the person who hacked them and leaked all the stuff. So, you know, obviously they are taking legal action, as they should, because what they did is super illegal.
Yeah, and they also hit up Uber too.
Yeah, I saw that. I was like,
wow. I mean, that kid, like, I think I was listening to a podcast and they were like, you'd think that this person would be like in like a Swiss, like a Swiss bank.
But it's literally
like,
a teenager.
He's just like out there. And like, I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, man, like I felt paranoid when I used to go on Kazaa or like LimeWire and download an episode of Charmed. You know, I'd be like, they're going to get me. I'm like, they're going to get me, the power of 3.
The FBI is going to come to my house and they're going to arrest me for pirating Charmed season 2.
One episode, yeah. And it was a virus. I immediately got a virus. I'm like, come on. Yeah, I mean, I got to feel for that kid too, you know, a little bit. Yeah. I'm like, man, like that's got to feel, that's so much pressure because the world is watching you. This is like a world, you know, viewpoint that people have. And I think that it's interesting that it happened this way. Also, the fact that they caught it so fast makes sense. Right. But I think a lot of people were expecting it to take a little bit longer.
Right.
But like it was within the week. They're like, got him. Like,
gotcha.
Gotcha.
Well, and didn't he also, he tried to like demand money too from them, right? Yeah. He was like, pay me, which.
Or else I'm going to release the source code for, you know, GTA 6 and like GTA 5. And yeah. And they because Rockstar now is not going to release, they're stopping the release of like a GTA 4, like remaster or something.
Yeah.
Like, wasn't there like something that was going to happen?
Yeah.
Yeah. They were like, no.
No.
They're like, no.
Sorry. Nope.
Yeah. Which is crazy. But I mean, I guess that makes sense because ultimately, like, they're not going to lose money from this leak because they're so big and they're going to make their money. And I think a lot of people that know are in this type of like gaming environment. They know that what got leaked is not the final product, is not what it's going to look like at all, and it's still in early development. So, you know, I don't think a lot of people are going to base, oh, this game looks like shit. Like, they're not going to base their purchase on this leak.
Right.
So I think, if anything, it kind of showcased to the world, like, kind of like what the expectations are with like big releases and like games, and like, you know, them keeping it so secret and like secretive, and like maybe opening the door up to kind of like what Dead Space, what the developers with their like they're doing, kind of showing, like showcasing what they're working on, how they're working on it, like updating you, like what it's going to look like, and those kind of things. I think that's a really cool aspect to take, and like maybe like to go in that realm where they're kind of like, there's more of a conversation with the players.
Right.
As opposed to like all closed doors all the time. Yeah.
Right. And it's interesting too, because it sparked a lot of conversations about that kind of stuff, where it's like, where people are likening video game development to things like film and TV, where it's like oftentimes you do get some like teasing and like behind the scenes stuff, and like that's common. And video games, when you do think about it, are extremely private. Like, you really don't know anything about a video game and what it's like in development until there's a trailer and there's something to show. And I do think it's interesting, and there's been, you know, a huge push on social media of devs sharing like, this is what this game looked like.
Oh, I loved seeing those.
It was really so cool. Like, there were so many, and like I loved the one that was like, it was the one for Control, where it was
where she was wearing like this, she looked completely different.
Yeah, right.
And she was wearing like this business like skirt.
Yeah, and it was
thing,
just like flying,
like,
or it was just like flying around, and there was like, it was just geometry. Like, there was no like environment, but like she had a character model, like, and I was like, yeah, that's so cool. Like, I'm fascinated by like the bones of how games are made and what that process looks like. So it's like, I as a fan alone love seeing that, because it is so fascinating to be like, oh, like, especially as someone using that example of Control, as someone who played Control and loved it, like knowing what the final product looked like versus like seeing the development of it. I'm like, that's so cool how it gets from that to what I put on my PS4 and played, you know?
Yeah.
So
hopefully it'll like open up the door for more of those conversations, and like maybe developers will more see this as an example and be like, maybe we could do a little bit more. Maybe we're not going to tease you with the trailer for the new Super Mario movie.
Right.
The Mario movie with Chris Pratt. I love how that's a teaser. They're like, we're going to tease it, you know. And we're finally going to get Chris Pratt's voice at the end going like, it's a me.
It's a me.
Except he's
Andy.
He's like, it's me. Yeah.
It's me.
Yeah. It is I. Star-Lord. Yeah. No, I think seeing the like developers like releasing those videos, like early development games, was so cool, because it was like, you know, taking like a warm bath. I was like, right. My favorite games, how are they made?
Yeah, it is so cool. I do hope that in the future we get more, kind of like you were saying, like the Dead Space showcases, where you know, the publishers are actually putting together like a video or a blog post, or getting with media, you know, like IGN does a lot of stuff like that, because they're fucking IGN, where they have like there was I think we talked about it on the podcast, the one for God of War Ragnarok, where they were talking about how they made the Chaos Blades work in this game. And like, I'm like, and again, like, I love that kind of stuff. It's so cool to see the background and the development. So I hope that, you know, publishers do that more, or, you know, publishers partner with media outlets more to bring fans an inside look at how these anticipated games are actually being produced, because it is really cool. So
yeah. Ultimately, it was a good, well, maybe not a good thing.
It was not a good thing.
Not a good thing for all people involved, for sure.
But hopefully there's some culture change around, you know, how we go about development of games, around like what we actually show people about the process. Yeah.
And like the sage saying that's not played out at all is everything happens for a reason. So I think I actually coined that.
I invented that.
Yeah, I'm pretty smart.
I'm the Buddha.
I'm the Buddha.
I'm Mr. Buddha.
I'm like the Pillsbury. You like poke me.
You poke your stomach, sage and then you come up with an idiom.
Yeah. I'm like, you are what you eat.
But that's it for our news. for this week, everyone. But we should talk about what we've been playing. Do you want to go first?
The game of life. I have been playing the game of life hard on difficulty extreme.
On crushing mode.
It's excruciating,
Yeah,
but I'm going to stick to it because I want to prove that I'm that I'm good at life. So I'm going to play as hard as I can. I have been playing a lot of Animal Crossing. I've noticed that in times of stress, in times of like a lot of stuff going on, I do gravitate back to Animal Crossing because I did buy the Happy Home or the DLC.
You did it.
I did buy the DLC. Finally, it took me forever.
It's so fun.
It is fun. It's very fun. But I love the timing that I bought this DLC because I bought it the night before the GoldenEye announcement, these like things coming to the N64, like the emulator for that, and like the plan, the subscription, where I could have just bundled that DLC with the Mario Kart tracks and the GoldenEye and like all that stuff. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like the night before. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I love designing the houses in Animal Crossing. I love like searching out the villages or like the people that are visiting the island and try to like see which one I want to design. Because I've been sticking more towards like the goofy ones. Like I want everything round. I dream of a round house, and then everything you have to make is a circle, and like it's almost like nauseating. I remember I was designing one person's house, and they said that they liked toilets. They were like, I want a toilet palace. And I was like, who doesn't? That's everybody's dream house.
That's my dream
I want
home.
a place where and every angle I can just go.
Just everywhere I look, there's a toilet I can use.
Yeah. No pressure. Pressure's off. So this person, like, and the funny thing is, like, I got to their house and you know how they give you a suggested item list. They're like, these are the things you have to have in their house. These are the things that they kind of want or like. And this, oh my gosh, this villager, like, they just wanted, like, everything that's, like, ugly, like, purple. And it was, like, all these nauseating, like patterns and things all like clashing and like combining together, and they just wanted toilets everywhere. So, oh my god, and like seashells, like shell, like furniture, like a shell bed, like a shell light. But like
this animal
everywhere.
knows nothing about interior design.
No, I was making it and I was like feeling nauseated while I was making it. I was like, oh.
You're like, I wish I could take this back.
I don't like this. And then I had to take a picture of it, like because you have to take a picture of it when you're
and it's
done
all ugly.
Yeah, I was like, oh no, I'm never visiting you. They're like, come back, visit me. I'm like, I'm never gonna come back. You have a diseased house.
Yep. That's why I stranded you on this island.
Yeah. But so that's been fun. I've been playing that, and also I still have been going through because I have the PlayStation subscription, the Plus or the Extra, and I've been going through the free PS4 games and free PS5 games and like downloading them still. I downloaded a game called Virginia, and it's like a walking simulator, and it's like a narrative. And the game, there's no sound, or there is sound, but there's no dialogue sounds. Okay. No one talks. It's all silent. But they communicate with like actions or like faces. So you understand the story, not through like anybody saying anything. No text boxes, nothing.
Interesting.
No text really. But just by looking around. And that game is probably one of the best. I mean, if you like walking simulators, which I do,
right?
It's probably one of the best walking simulators and or games that I've played.
Oh.
And had an emotional impact on me. The emotional impact was strong.
Cool.
In this. And again, like no like words were said. And the storyline, you're trying to follow it, and like it's really hard to follow sometimes. You're like, what is going on? But you keep like, you're being more and more invested as you go on. And basically, in the beginning, you play as like this FBI agent who got, like, it's a new FBI agent that just got like put into the force. And the force. And yes. And you are partnered with this, like, you get a partner. And like, you're assuming you kind of have to tie everything together because again, like, you have to make up what they're doing because it's hard to like tell right away. So it's kind of disorienting, but in a cool way. And you get this FBI partner, and like all of a sudden, like, you have a file on them that you're keeping secret. And like, you're not telling them that you have this file on them, and you're following them around, and you're like trying to like solve this case together of this missing person. And the more the story goes on, it just gets further and further into this realm of like, what the hell is like happening? And it's so cool. I I haven't really experienced that type of game before because you'll be walking like a regular walking simulator and it'll cut.
Oh.
Like it'll cut and it'll go to another scene and you're in the middle of walking and like the environment changes like instantly, like sporadically. You can't control it. And it just moves the story along a lot, like the story along. And yeah, I think it's one of the coolest games I've played, like ever, honestly. And it was free. And I just downloaded it because I saw, like, I was like, oh, that's a cool, like, art design.
That looks cool.
On it. That looks artsy. That looks artsy fartsy. It's probably what I would like because I'm a little hipster. So it's really good though. And I really highly recommend it. So I played that. I beat that because it's only like a 2-hour game, maybe 3-hour game total. It's very short. And it's not really playing. You're kind of just walking.
Right.
And letting the story just kind of wash over you. And then I've also been saving money to play, all the games that are coming out. So I'm really excited for God of War. I think the last trailer that dropped really just blew my mind. It gave me chills.
Yeah, same. It really got me hyped for it.
Yeah. I think it's one of the coolest trailers in video game history.
Oh, yeah. Easily.
So I'm really getting hyped for that because I know I'm going to bounce into that and just play that. Especially, I just want to talk briefly about the trailer. Because those 2 games are the only games I've really been playing. But that God of War trailer, when there was like a wolf at the end, or like this large like wolf character, and he's shooting the arrow at the sky, and then the sun, like the wolf like follows it and takes the sun with him,
and, like, unzips the sky.
Yeah, I was like, what the? That was like one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
Seriously.
Like not only in gaming, like movies, like TV. That was like one of the coolest things I've ever seen. Highly recommend watching that trailer.
I kept rewatching that part actually because I was like, what the hell? And I was just like, I kept picking up on different things. I was like, oh my God, this is so cool.
Yeah, if you're undecided on that game, if you're on the fence, watch that trailer.
Yes.
That's all I'm saying. But yeah, that's all I've really been playing recently.
Yeah, I haven't really played anything since I got back, but before I left for vacation, I played this game After Party, which is not a new game. It's not fairly old, but I think it's like 3 or 4 years old. So it's by Night School Studio, who are the studio that made Oxenfree and are working on Oxenfree 2, which they just announced today is delayed until 2023, which is fine because Oxenfree is one of my favorite indie games, and so I'm like, yes, take all the time you need to make Oxenfree 2 ready. Like,
perfect.
Thank you. But anyway, so it's published by made by the same studio, and it came out before the first Oxenfree game, so I believe it was the game that they published that preceded it, and they're not related, but the structure of the gameplay is sort of similar, and it's kind of cool to play retroactively because you can see... Like, I can see a lot of, like, the narrative elements and the way that you navigate conversations in After Party. And it's more of, it's simpler and it's more of, like, more like a skeleton of what it is in Oxenfree. Because in Oxenfree, the dialogue actually shapes, like, your relationship with other characters in the game and kind of changes the dynamic of the game. Whereas in After Party... you have dialogue choices, but they don't change your relationships with characters as much and like don't affect the plot as much. But the premise of it, and like the reason I downloaded it, because I love their art style that the studio has, but also is the premise of the game is basically you're playing as like a boy and a girl, and I can't remember their names off the top of my head, but you're playing as like a pair of best friends, and you end up in hell together. And in order to escape, you have to outdrink Satan.
I've played this game.
Yeah. It's so good.
I didn't click. When you said After Party, it didn't click. And I was like, wait, why does that sound so familiar? I literally downloaded that game. I've played it.
Yeah.
Like, it's great.
It's such a good game. And everyone should go play it. Okay. Everyone should...
Please continue.
Yeah,
I got excited.
Yeah, everyone should go play this game, play Oxenfree, support Night School Studio. Like, they're making really, really great games that are super well stylized, have amazing soundtracks, like, great narrative. It's super fun. And so...
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off from the plot. Like, this game it's cool. The plot's cool.
Yeah, it's awesome. And it's just super fun, really tongue-in-cheek, like, super funny. Obviously, just from that premise, you can imagine. But, yeah, it's a great game. And it's, like, took me maybe, like, 6 hours to beat. Very, very short, but super enjoyable. I loved every part of it. I didn't feel like it dragged at all. Like, everything, the story beats were good. And, like, you know, it was very guided in terms of like, okay, I have to go do this, and then you go do this, and then go do this. But I didn't want it to be an open world game. Like I didn't want it to be choose your own adventure. Like that structure of narrative and of like, okay, we go here, and then we're gonna go here, and then we're gonna go here. It made sense, and like I didn't feel like it was a problem to not have that much agency, because that's just the kind of, it fit into the style of game that it is. But it was super fun, and I got the ending where you actually stay in hell because I couldn't outdrink Satan, because that was the one mini game that I was so bad at, and I just didn't have the patience to actually like buckle down and like do the mini game right, because it's you have to essentially like take shots and stack your glasses without them falling or breaking. So you have to stack them to a certain height, and I just couldn't get the alignment right, like the drag or whatever in the controls. It was too loose, and so I couldn't get it to line up perfectly, and I did it like 5 or 6 times, and eventually like just gave up. Like Satan gives you the opportunity to keep retrying, but I was like, nope, like you won. And so then I ended up staying in hell. That was my ending. But I would be curious to go back and do it and like actually try to beat it and see like, do you escape hell?
Yeah, I got to the point where I think you're in Satan's like castle or whatever. There's like that party going on. And then you go up, and then he's like, get these people to like
approve you or whatever.
Sponsor you. Yeah, like, you know, sponsor you or whatever. And then I think I got to the point where like I'm almost done with getting the people, or I just got done and I have to go back and then do it. So I'm at like the very end, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, you're pretty close.
Yeah. That game's cool though. Yeah, the premise got me. I was like, that's a cool premise.
Right? I'm like, creative game right there. What a great idea for a game.
Yeah.
So fun. But that's all I've been playing. And I've been playing Animal Crossing. Like, it's always my go-to, like, I want to lay in bed for 30 minutes and just, like, play. And the seasons are changing. It's fall, so now I have fall stuff to be doing in Animal Crossing.
It's the best part of Animal Crossing's fall, because pumpkins.
Right? Yeah. Mushrooms, acorns, pine, like all this stuff. And I think I'm almost done with the DLC. Like, I have all of the infrastructure. I think I just need to, like, finish designing all the plots of land that there are, because our mutual friend who plays beat it, and she's like, yeah, there's like a dance party or something at the end.
Of course.
And I'm like, of course there is. Like, and I'm like, I want to do that.
Cake.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I want to do that because I want to be like, okay, this part of the game is done. I don't have to do anything else here.
Yeah.
But I have like, I finished upgrading my house, so now I'm like making sure all my rooms are well designed. I'm like totally redesigning my like first floor, and I put my bedroom upstairs, and I have like a den, a kitchen, and a bathroom, and they're like, you know, I need to finish kind of doing my living room when you first walk in, but my house is like pretty good.
Nice. Yeah, that sounds awesome. You got different floors. You got more than one floor? Wow, you fancy.
I know. I was like, I'm gonna pay my debts off, I guess.
It's a lot of money. You paid Nook a lot.
It is.
Bells.
I think I'm on my last debt, which is 1.2 million bells.
Oh my.
And I'm like, this is ridiculous.
Oh, I do not feel bad for time traveling. I don't feel bad for trying to accumulate bells as fast as I can.
It's worth it.
Because that's ridiculous. You'll be paying that. I'm already paying off like real debt.
In real life. I don't need
video game debt. Years video game debt. Nook going like, sorry, I can't help you. You got to pay off 1 million bells.
I'm like, no, fuck you.
I'm like, stupid Nook. You crook.
You crook.
I did forget to mention at last second. It's a small little game I have been playing. I downloaded a mobile game.
What?
A free mobile game.
What?
Yeah, but it got me. Instagram got me. It knows me. Pulled me in. It's called Cats and Soup.
Oh, of course.
It's literally like little. It's little kawaii, like chibi little cats, and the graphics are really cute.
This is like Neko Atsume all over again.
Yes,
that's the last mobile game I've played. Yeah,
that was the last game before this one, and it's just cats like stirring soup. And like and you just like click on things and make soup, and then you sell it.
Wow.
And it's funny because I downloaded it, and then right afterwards I started getting really bad phishing scam texts.
Interesting.
Like rampant.
Interesting.
Like constant.
I've been getting a lot of spam texts actually too recently. So
I've been getting one for Zachary. They're like, Zachary, and you're like, approved. Zachary, your loan for $10,000 isn't approved. You better
like,
get this link. Yeah, and then they're like. And it's like texts that are like misspelled.
Mhm.
And it's like verify, but it's like VERFY. Verify.
Yeah, and you're like, this
Verify.
is obviously, like, you guys need to do better.
Yeah, and they're like, link. They're like, click on this link. And I'm like,
Nope.
Yeah, so Zachary has been hitting me up. Like, I've reported to spam probably at least 40 numbers.
Oh, yeah.
Different numbers.
My spam, like, my reported numbers on my phone is like,
yeah.
Because for a while I was
So
getting
many.
a ton of spam calls, and then I wasn't getting anything. And now I'm getting spam calls and spam texts, at least 2 or 3 every day. Yeah. And I'm like, can we just stop? Like, this doesn't work. Like, unless you're over the age of like 70, this doesn't work.
Well, I think my old number was somebody that passed away, and I got it.
Oh.
Because I accidentally got in their Facebook.
Oh yeah, you did tell me that.
And I was on their homepage, and I was like, who
am I? Ah!
Yeah, I was like, who is that? I didn't remember their name, but they're like their full name, and I was in their account because they had the same number as me, linked to their Facebook account. Ooh. And it was so creepy. I immediately reported to Facebook, but Facebook doesn't have a customer service at all.
Right, of course.
I was like, you guys need to fix this. I literally logged into this
somebody else's Facebook account
with just my number. Like, oh, so bad. But yeah, I think because of that, maybe that person was really old, and they think they're texting an old person.
Maybe.
Sorry.
Joke's on you.
I'm not that old. I'm old. I'm not that old. Okay.
I'm old according to Gen Z, but
that's true. I'm so over. Like, they're like, ew.
Ew, you skeleton.
You had
bag of bones.
You had dial-up? You had a landline?
What in the hell?
Get out of here. Landlines are toys now.
It's true. They are only toys now.
Yeah. There was a funny this end story. At the Airbnb I was staying at, they had 2 landlines.
Well,
and I was calling people.
I was calling the other landline from
I was like, wow. Yeah.
I was calling my cell phone from the landline.
I was like, luxurious.
Wasteful.
Sound quality bad. Yeah.
Oh my God. Well, yeah,
anyway.
I think that's it for today.
Yeah,
we did it.
It's good catching up. We did it.
So yeah, anyway, thank you guys for listening to another episode of the After School Special Club podcast. Our shows go live on Tuesdays typically, so tune in on Tuesdays. You can enjoy them anywhere that podcasts are available. You can also watch them on YouTube, and please leave a comment, leave a 5-star review. Let us know what you think, what you want us to talk about. We love the engagement, and it also kind of helps us get ourselves out there and climb the charts. We are going to try to bring our social media back a little bit. I told Mary I'm excited to be a social media manager. And
yes, be a social media guru.
Well, okay, because did I text you that I have my personal Instagram linked to our like podcast one, and so I get notifications when people follow us, and we have like over 40 followers on Instagram.
That's good. That's amazing for like not doing anything.
Right. Well, that's the thing. We haven't posted like in 7 months.
Yeah, and the last one is us like I think you like talking to the camera or like us eating the microphone. Like.
Yeah. So we want to bring it back because obviously people are following the links that we have to our social media.
Yeah.
And obviously it's a good way to get updates and posts out there. And I also love doing little social media spots. It lets me flex my editing muscle a little bit. So I want to bring that back and engage with that because people besides our friends and family are following us apparently. So
I mean, that's exciting news.
Right?
Thank you, everyone.
Yes.
Thank you for doing that.
Thank you. So
we love it.
Yes, leave a comment. Follow us. It's After School Special Club on Instagram, and then Ask Club Podcast on Twitter. ASS Club Podcast on Twitter, if you'd like.
The best kind of club. The best kind of club.
And then hopefully we'll also be bringing back our Twitch channel from the dead.
We'll raise it up
to more than it can be right now.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no videos there. There's only the clip of you pushing a car around with a mop in Gas Station Simulator that's still there.
That's probably the best clip that I'll ever get in my life.
I was going to say, like, it's the only thing that matters. If anything, like, we'll keep our Twitch just to immortalize that clip because it's so funny.
It's really good. It's really good.
But that's it. We'll be back next week with more shenanigans. Thank you for listening and or watching.
Or both. Or doing everything. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.